Fense Post.
Good afternoon, Grain Valley, and welcome to a special edition of the Fense Post podcast. Usually we've been releasing every Monday at noon. But this is a Thursday special edition because something special is happening, people.
Here in Grain Valley. Look at this. Oh, we're so excited. We're knocking the microphone away.
The wrestling team is going to state.
The wrestling team is going to state. And that's this weekend.
That is this weekend, and we are joined here by none other than Coach Horner of the wrestling team. Coach, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm good. Yes, there was something wrong with Coach Horner. He made a mistake early in his head coaching career, and that was to come into my room and say, "Hey,
would you
mind showing up on occasion?" And the one thing
and now
I
you can't
don't
get
do
it
is on occasion. And he's like, "God, who is this weirdo showing up every day?"
With a passion for wrestling.
Yeah. Not just passion for wrestling, passion for everything.
That's true.
A passion for being busy.
Yes. Yeah. When I came home and told my wife, "Hey, guess what? The head wrestling coach asked me to come in." She goes, "Oh, that'll be fun." I said, "Yeah, I think I'm going to do it." And she's like, go in? I go, "Yeah, all the time." She's like,
I'm all in.
You don't have enough stuff to do as it is? I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's wrestling, baby. It's wrestling. So we're here with Coach Donnie Horner of the boys and girls head wrestling coach here at Grain Valley. Just before we get into the kids and state and all that stuff, just give us a little bit about your background.
So I grew up here in eastern Jackson County. I went to Blue Springs High School. Yeah. Grew up in Blue Springs, wrestled for Mike Haggerty.
Do you see how political he was when he said, he didn't just go out and say, "I'm from Blue Springs."
Yeah, he
threw in eastern Jackson County. If you guys didn't know that, vote Donnie Horner, something coming up.
Something soon.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, you wrestled for the legendary coach Mike Haggerty, and?
We had a pretty solid team. We held things together. Worked really hard and developed some really good relationships amongst my teammates. Then I went to college up in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Oh. I wrestled at Coe College in Cedar Rapids against Coach Fencemakers, one of his alma maters, the University of Dubuque.
One of them.
One of them.
Like many things, I move around.
Yes, can't sit still. Can't do one thing.
Funny note about this is I was also recruited by Coe College.
Oh, yeah.
Out of high school. And the first package I ever got from them in the mail included a lanyard. You know, like everybody was giving out lanyards that said Coe College and all that stuff on there. I'm like, oh my gosh, the keys to the Ferrari are coming next. Yes. I mean, the first thing they're doing is
I've seen this movie.
They're giving, I know blue chips, man, but it's not about basketball. It's about wrestling. And I wish I would have known you then. I would have you ask them where my car is.
Well, do you know where mine is?
It's probably the same place.
Yeah, we'll have to go look for it.
So you're still waiting.
So you go up to Coe and wrestle, and most people don't know that the Iowa Conference, the Division III Iowa Conference, is no joke when it comes to wrestling. It is one of the top conferences. You know, I mean, throwing Division I out there, but even some Division I wrestlers go to the Iowa Conference. So how did it feel wrestling up there in Iowa?
Oh, wrestling in Iowa is it's different. And I kind of got to experience that early before I'd even had a duel. A buddy of mine was like, "Hey, you want to go down to Iowa City and watch them duel Oklahoma State?" I was like, "Sure, let's grab tickets. We'll just drive down, no biggie." The entirety of Carver Hawkeye Arena, I have no idea how many seats, completely sold out. Absolutely wild. The entire crowd knows what's going on. I'm like, is it like this all the time up here? He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, you want to go to a high school duel next week? I was like, yeah. You can go to a high school duel and the gym's full. And I'm like, whoa, like this is just insane. So pretty awesome getting to wrestle. And like, I think probably wrestled, we dueled Air Force my freshman year in their standing room only in the gym, at least 2,000 people minimum. So just incredibly different to go up there. Culture shock almost, even in the wrestling world. Just have everybody who knows about wrestling and then just so passionate about it. But after I left Coe College, came back home to Eastern Jackson County.
There you go. Also, it's back to the city to the west.
Yes. Blue Spring South High School, and worked under Doug Black, who was a good mentor to me, and got to learn a lot. And then this past year applied and got the head coaching job here at Grand Valley High School.
Yeah, and I know Grand Valley's happy to have you and stuff like that. And I know, as a assistant coach of yours and alumni, I'm there almost every day when I'm not trying to sell a house, or I feel obligated. Like, I know I don't have to tell him I'm not going to be at practice, but I feel obligated to tell him. Like, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to be late. Hey, he's like, you're fine. You're fine. Hey, I'm going to be. But I feel bad
Once you commit, you commit.
When I commit, I commit. Exactly. When I get committed, I'm going to be committed to being committed.
Well, we're going to commit you pretty soon here, so just be ready. One of the things I noticed, I came up recently. You guys were having a tournament, and we did a broadcast. For one of the coaches.
Mm-hmm. You can tell he's new because that's called a duel, not a tournament. But it's okay. Go ahead.
Or try.
Try. Yeah, try.
I was going to say, how's a duel? There were 3
How can it
games.
be a tri-duel?
There were 3 matches. But one of the things I noticed was like there's a real sense of team.
Yeah.
Like, and I think all high school teams have that to a certain degree, but I noticed it seemed real pronounced. Like the kids with the coaches, it really seemed like a really strong team.
Yeah, it's something we've been, it's at the bottom of my practice plan every day. It's something we've been talking about a ton. Just creating that family atmosphere. That's actually something I stole from Coach Hag. Is he created this like sense of brotherhood, even down to where I probably, of the 14 varsity kids, I probably talked to 10 of them on a semi-regular basis. Heck, a couple of them are my best friends. Some of them have moved to Grand Valley, and I see semi-regularly, like, and it's even just all the way down to like their older brothers that graduated in the 90s came back and talked to them, or just friends of their older brothers, and just creating a family culture and a program. And that's what we want to do here. We want our kids to talk to each other 30 years from now, not just right now.
Well, I think you've done that well. It seemed really strong with this team, which I think will bode well for this weekend.
And that's the one thing people think is, wrestling is such an individual sport, and it is to an extent. It's probably one of the most team sports out there up until the whistle blows.
Yeah. And
once the whistle blows, it is all on you.
It's you.
But nobody can practice by themselves.
Right.
Nobody can wrestle themselves. It takes a team of I'm wrestling this guy this day. I'm wrestling this guy this day. And not just for the kids, but I know coaching, I know you've coached football.
Yeah.
I know you've coached Scholar Bowl and swimming.
Very similar, yes.
Very similar stuff. But there's something to coaching wrestling that is so different because you get in there and wrestle with the kids. I told the kids this the other day at a meet, and I believe it was after the JV meet or something like that. I said, understand, you guys all wrestled 3 matches. Us coaches just wrestled 50.
Yeah.
And I said, because we are invested in each and every one of you. And when you're out there wrestling, our mind is wrestling that match too. It is literally exhausting to coach wrestling.
Yeah.
Because you are invested in every match. And when they lose, your heart hurts. I mean, it literally hurts for that kid. And I know, Coach, you can speak on that. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking, like, just to see, like, I feel like wrestling coaches are really empathetic. Like, even though they do a good job, I feel like the wrestling community, like, a little bit traditional, over masculine, probably, like, hiding emotions. But it's definitely, like, kicks you in the gut when you see a kid and you know that kid's been up 3 mornings a week at 4:30 a.m. to get into the weight room, and then that kid's shown up for 2-hour practices 7 days a week when he doesn't have competitions, and that he's going home after practice and eating, but then he's getting out and he's going on a 30 or 45-minute run because he's got to watch his weight, and like, he's been putting in the discipline of watching his weight, counting how many ounces of water he drinks, and just all the countless hours that they put into the sport, and then to kind of have it just stolen away from them by another person. And it's kudos to the other kid, but it it just crushes your soul right along with their soul.
And that's what people don't understand. When you go home, when I went home from football practice, I was sore, but I didn't have to really worry about football practice. When you go home from wrestling and then you're reminded, oh crap, I'm 2.5 pounds over.
Yeah.
because most of the time, because of the decisions I made the day before
Right.
or that morning for lunch or whatever it was, it's decisions all wrestlers know when they go to eat something, they're like, I'm gonna pay for this later.
Is it worth it? Yep.
Come home from practice and mom's made your favorite dinner.
Oh,
You seem like you've been having a rough day. I made your favorite dinner. I just want to put a smile on your face.
You can't tell mom no when she's done that.
No. And so, speaking on what you said about the heartbreak, we just got done with districts. We had 14 boys go to districts, and 7, half of them, are now what they can call themselves state qualifiers.
Yes.
So, which unfortunately that means 7 of them that have been busting their butts in the practice room with you, with the teammates and all that stuff. Their season's cut just a little bit short. Just kind of talk about that kind of mindset of, those kids that their season just fell a little bit short, and what positives, obviously if they're a senior, we tell them congratulations, thank you for your commitment to the program and to the team. But to those kids that fell just short, what's your message to them?
I hope they take what they learned this year, and I hope they take what we've been preaching, and they're just ready to continue to put in the work to get ready for next year. That's the other thing about like you can't physically play football year round. Plus, it's not a sport that really bodes well to creating that club team atmosphere. But wrestling is something that just gets done. Like, we restart. State is Saturday, and our first club practice at Mo West is Tuesday. So you get a whole Sunday, Monday off, and then you probably need to show up, because if you don't show up Tuesday, you're probably going to struggle for freestyle and Greco, those Olympic styles, because state is in April.
Yeah.
So you get a whole 2 months to get ready for another high-level tournament within the state, and you're going to wrestle a lot of the same kids you wrestled here at the end of February, and hopefully you can turn those results over. But even then, you go from freestyle Greco state into the regional system that USA Wrestling's put out, where we see kids from Kansas, Illinois, Iowa, Arkansas, Oklahoma, down at Texas and Arizona. Olympic champion Henry Ciuto, his niece was in our Southern Plain Regional last year, and we saw kids run into her. And then as soon as you're done prepping for regional season, it's time for the biggest, toughest national tournament of the year in Fargo, North Dakota, where you're going to see kids from all 50 states, and even as far out as like territories. I think last year all 50 states were represented, and then like Puerto Rico, the military base in Okinawa has sent kids before nationals, and then you get your little 2-week break before we start training for fall season.
Yeah, because
it is a big commitment.
It is 2 different styles of wrestling. That's what people don't understand. So we have 7 qualifiers. 113 Zach Blees. 120 freshman. We'll go ahead and say freshman. We'll go through their grades too, because I think that's important too, because this is Zach's first year, wrestled well all year, and first time qualifier in high school, and class 4, the biggest class too, in the toughest district. I mean, there's all kinds of things boding against them. And then 120, you have Gavin Parks, Junior. That this is his first time qualifying.
No, he qualified his freshman year, the COVID year.
Oh, he qualified that's right. Then you have 126 senior Brock Smith.
Now a 2-time qualifier.
And went in not seeded to go because he had such a tough weight class.
Yes.
But knocked off a kid that he lost to in overtime earlier in the year.
Wow.
Wow. That was great to see.
Yep.
And then 132 district champion.
Yes. Multi-time district champion. 4-time qualifier now, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year.
Drew Ascona, by the way.
Yeah. Placed as a freshman. I think they were class 3 back then.
Yep. Then his junior year.
And then placed as a junior, and now he's in his senior year and hoping to bring home that state title.
Yeah. And then 144 senior Tyler Groves,
who is just has just had an outright amazing season. Not to put a knock on anybody, but I heard a lot from the wrestling community. Oh, when I got the job, they're like, oh, Tanner Barker's there, Drew Escona, Brock Smith, those are going to be your seniors, really tough guys, returning qualifiers, all those good positive things. One thing nobody mentioned to me was about Tyler Groves, but it was evident early on to me that Tyler Groves was going to be something very special this season.
that man works.
Came on strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
That man works. And went through one of the most roller coaster matches you could go through.
She's two of them.
To at least go. I mean,
Yeah.
we throw a guy in a headlock and we pin him and we think we're going to state.
Yep.
And the refs talk about it and they wave it off. Well, now you got a kid that's celebrating. Now he's got to get focused back to wrestle.
And why'd they wave it off? They said no pin? Just technical.
We can spend 15
Yeah,
minutes
okay.
on the nuances of
That gets too much. Too
what's a
involved.
headlock, what's not a headlock, who's talking, who's not talking, why, what, hit, where, all that stuff. But then it gets tied up, and we get taken down. No, we're down. That guy's down 1. We get taken down, but then the guy commits a penalty as he's taking us down, so he gets his 2 points, which puts him up by 1. He thinks he's won it. We think we've lost it, but then the penalty point comes in. Now we're tied. So now we thought we won. That kid thinks he's won, and now we're going to overtime.
Back to ground zero. Yeah.
and it's so hard to get a kid's mind right. Like, the match isn't over. And he went in, hit a great shot, and ended up taking down and going. So that was very good.
That is drama.
Then you got 150. And once again, that one you wrestle like
Right.
20 times.
You are feeling it.
And then you got 157 junior Justin DeWeese.
Two-time qualifier now. Qualifier last year as a sophomore. Kind of coach. That's Coach Fensemaker's baby, for lack of a better term. That's his guy.
You know, you always, as a coach, you always kind of tie yourself to a group of kids or a kid or two or something like that. And I walked in and saw this tall, lanky kid, and I go, when did I have years I didn't know about? And I knew his dad and stuff like that. And so his style just kind of fits my style.
Yeah.
Lazy. No, he's not lazy. Well, sorry, that was me. No, he's definitely not a lazy wrestler. He's very active. No. And then 165, Tanner Barker.
Yes, Tanner Barker is now a 3-time qualifier. Placed last year as a junior. And he has done a great job this season. He's only lost 2 matches. One of them was to a kid from out of state, and he's worked hard and has definitely been a very solid member of the lineup. Always count on him to take care of business.
So that gives us 7. And the one reason why I love coaching with you is you're a breakdown type guy. Doesn't matter what it is. You put in the hours, you put in the time. You were doing exactly what I was doing Sunday morning at what it was, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whenever the brackets were released. I'm already looking at them, and I'm starting to get texts from Coach. What do you think about this match? Who do we think about this one? I'm like, well, I've already been looking at them for the last 4 minutes. I think I've got it all figured out. But I don't, we do that, and we go ahead, and what they don't understand is we go ahead and wrestle the whole state tournament before it even happens.
Yeah.
And if they would just go with what we say, we would be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is
They don't.
they don't. There's kids from other teams that have to wrestle too.
Yeah.
Crazy. They make us wrestle the tournament, and I just don't understand.
You can't just tell them how the outcome is.
No,
Like,
we
you go
just can't say, Liberty, you go ahead and stay home. Liberty is one of the best teams, the best team in the state, one of the best teams in the nation too.
Yeah.
And so they were in our district, which obviously when you come from such a tough district, only taking 4 out, this has been done by wrestling coaches and wrestlers for years and years and years. Oh, man, if I was in this district, I would have done this. Or if I was in this district, you know what? At the end of the day, you're put where you're put.
Yep.
And so what we need to talk about now is we don't have 7 state qualifiers. We have 9 state qualifiers because we have 2 females. For the first time, Grain Valley is taking multiple ladies down to the state wrestling tournament. Most people might not know that girls wrestling is actually a MSHA sanctioned sport. Boys and girls can't wrestle each other in high school anymore.
And that's how it started. They started just as one thing. but then it became two separate. How long ago did that happen?
This will be the fifth official state tournament. The first couple years they did it, they still allowed like cross categorical. I don't know how to say it. They allowed the girls to wrestle the boys for the first 2 years, and then the third year was girls only wrestled girls. I think the reason they did that the first 2 years was just to get those girls actual matches, like the numbers weren't as high.
They wouldn't go to tournaments or this or that and then have one other girl,
right,
Because it's grown so big now, they're into 2 different classes for girls.
Yes, and we're in the big class, and our girls did a really good job this year. We had 9. One suffered an unfortunate injury early on in the season, but she still came to practice every day and did a great job for us. And then we finished out the season with 8 at districts and wrestled well.
And and just like anything, there's that bubble match, we call it, the blood round. Some people call it the crybaby round. Not in our case because none of us cried. I mean, I did a little bit.
Only inside.
I'm an emotional guy.
But you held it together.
I barely.
Not well.
not it's my 8 Diet Pepsis that hold it all together for
That's
me.
what keeps you going. Yeah.
But so we ended up having some tough losses on that backside bubble match, but we ended up bringing 2 through. So obviously one, Sevi Amua, who is already the most, I won't say already, one of the most decorated wrestlers in Grand Valley history. I mean, she's a junior and has only lost 2 matches in her entire career.
Wow.
So I think she lost 1 as a freshman at the state tournament and took 3rd, and then 1 early last year and then ended up winning the state title. And so now she returns as a junior. And go ahead and just talk about Sevi for a second, just her work ethic and her increased knowledge and passion for the sport.
What to say about Sevi? I mean, first of all, she's just an outstanding kid. I don't think there's a single teacher in Grand Valley High School who wouldn't love to have Sevi in class, and every teacher that she has is always saying, "Oh my gosh, Sevi's so amazing. She's so sweet. She's so nice." And then in the wrestling room, we couldn't ask for a better upperclassman. We don't have any seniors, and she's our only junior. And we couldn't ask for a better example for the rest of our girls. Wrestling knowledge just continues to increase, but is already very high. Super dedicated, always asking questions, wants to get better, works super hard. More of a silent leader, not always vocal about it, but no one can ever look over their shoulder and complain about Sevi's work ethic. She does everything she's asked, and then some. And then
Just a good leader.
Yeah, and then on top of it to boot, she's super outstanding at the sport. It's been, 3 weeks now at the George Hoover Invite, which is up in Liberty, Missouri. She beat a girl from Clinton who was an All-American and ranked in the nation, and she majored her, which means she won by more than 8 points and controlled the match, even gave a takedown at the end and still got the major. Just outstanding. I might be jinxing it, but I do believe she'll leave Grand Valley High School as the most decorated wrestler that Grand Valley's ever seen.
Couldn't happen to a better person, for sure.
Good kid.
And then we have a freshman,
Yes, another freshman.
Jaden, qualifying for the state tournament.
Yes, Jaden Maley. She's a freshman. She wrestles 235, and she's another one that she will leave as a very decorated athlete. There's not a doubt in my mind. I know she's got 4 more years, but she does an outstanding job.
And you say athlete, and I want to reiterate this for her. She missed practice 2 days last week because she was at
State swimming
and diving championships.
Right.
So there's many times throughout the year she might miss a duel because she's at a swimming or diving. So there's many people out there that say the only sport that practice-wise is even close to as hard as wrestling is swimming.
Yeah.
And she does both.
Yes.
Which is a huge time commitment. And that's before school, after school. She's given so much. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we're heading down to Columbia on Thursday, wrestle Friday and Saturday. They redo how the state tournament usually was. Usually it was 3 days. Now it's just condensed to 2 days. We'll see how that goes because that's a whole different animal.
Yes.
And I don't think, as coaches, we don't really know how to coach it per se, but the good news is it's very similar to districts at least.
Yes, it will be a. So it looks like right now we'll have our. The girls will have the first session midday. They've split the tournament. Class 1 and 2 and Class 1 girls are wrestling Wednesday, Thursday, and then we are Class 4 and we'll be wrestling at the similar times to Class 3 and Class 2 girls. Class 3 will start in the morning, and then our girls will go in the second session, and they'll have 2 to 4 matches, depending on how everything shakes out. They win their first 2, they're through the quarters. However, though, if they lose in the first round, they have to go all the way back to wrestle back 2s. Oh, wow.
It's pretty simple. If people want to bring home the hardware, I just tell them the easiest path is
To win.
win your first 2
Just
matches.
win.
Yeah. You win your first 2 matches, it makes placing at state a heck of a lot easier.
Yes.
You lose that first match, it makes it very, very
The
tough.
path gets difficult.
Yes, I might know that from
Experience.
Although it can be done. I've seen one of the assistant coaches at Blue Spring South lost his first round match and said, you know what, I'm just still going to take third.
Yeah.
So,
I can do this.
I said that too, but so did the guy from Marceline, and he decided to take that from me.
Yeah.
What a
He
jerk.
decided stronger.
I know. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come here and talk about wrestling. I know me and you talk about wrestling nonstop because it is a sport that you put your heart and soul in as a participant, but probably even more so as a coach, because it was one thing just to worry about yourself. That's hard. That's difficult. There's no doubt about that. But when you're worried about 14, or in our case, 50, 60 other people, that makes a lot. So
Yeah.
we definitely appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Good luck to all the wrestlers competing down at the
Good luck
state
this
tournament.
weekend. Good luck to you guys.
Yeah. I will be down there too.
Yes.
Go
yes.
Eagles.
Go Eagles.
Which means I'll be teaching by myself, right? You have a sub on Thursday.
Yeah,
Friday.
no, there'll be a sub. There'll be a sub.
It's all right. We'll be all right.
Mr. Nevels doesn't need a sub. All right. For Matt Nevels, I'm Jason Fitzpatrick. Thank you very much, Head Coach Donnie Horner, and good afternoon, Grain Valley. We'll see you.
Bye.
The Fense Post.